reckon there'll be more on that later?
There might be. Yeah. But we'll talk more on that later.
Okay, let's do that.
Excellent.
Why are we here, Courtney?
Well, the first time we tried to record this...
Hang on a second. No. No.
Yeah.
We weren't going to talk about that.
It's a funny story.
Alright.
So we have previously tried to record this, haven't we?
Not tried to, we did. It was in the can.
Yeah, we did record it.
Yep.
But there's going to have to be too much editing.
Yeah.
Wasn't there?
Well, yeah, it started off like, we might just cut out the last names. And I was like, that's fair. They didn't ask to be on a podcast. And then it was like, maybe we'll just cut like this section out about like this. And then it was like,
let's just scrap the whole thing and start again.
Let's hope there's not too many of those.
Yeah.
I mean, the point of this is to be raw and real.
That's, the whole idea. But I think that was like our baby steps. We're still figuring out how much to disclose and what we wanted to talk about, right?
Yeah, it's good. It's a good point.
Yeah.
No. I think it was good to sort of hit the ground running, and then have just a bit of a, step back, have a think about things and how it went. We'll probably never listen to it again. No one will.
It could be a fun throwback though.
Yeah.
Remember that time we tried to record that first episode? Then we scrapped it?
We just play...
What did that look like?
We play like snippets to all the people who we did talk about when we get them on the podcast.
Yeah. That could be fun.
Could be really fun.
Could be scary. But that's fine.
It is.
So what are we doing here?
I reckon we should start by introducing ourselves.
Alright, go for it.
It worked last time.
Yeah.
Why don't you go first?
Well, my name is Courtney. I am married to Josh, who is sitting next to me with the other set of headphones on. I don't even know where to go from there. There's too much.
Well, I kind of destroyed you last time, didn't I? I was like...
A little bit.
I think... So, what I love about Courtney is she's my biggest supporter, and she is her worst supporter. I think that's a good way of describing it.
That's very accurate, yeah.
Yeah. She went into a lot of detail last time when I asked her that question. Again, we should stop referring to the previous episode.
Well, actually, I went into zero detail, and then you asked me to elaborate, and I went into a lot of detail.
Yeah, but at the same time, you still didn't talk about a lot, and so...
I'm good at that, yeah.
I had to come in and go, no, this is Courtney. But I'm not going to do that this time, because I think you as the audience can come to sort of understand her as we go along.
Yeah. Basically, all that needs to be known for right now, though, is that I'm a teacher and a musician. I love all of my jobs about as equally as each other, which can be quite conflicting sometimes. But yeah, it's lots of fun. I grew up playing music. I always kind of wanted to be on the stage. I never knew quite how. I never knew if it would actually be possible, but I'm giving it a red hot crack. And I married this wonderful man who actually believes in me, unlike previous relationships.
More on that later.
Yeah, and I found myself in teaching, and especially teaching music, I just found a massive passion for. So that's what I do with my life. Not a whole lot more. I get pretty, what do you call it? Like, single focused sometimes.
Yeah.
Or just very hyper focused.
Yeah. You're also doing a lot of spoiler alerts. I'm not even asking questions yet, and you're just going into it. And I love that.
Well, I was trying to be helpful and efficient, because last time I don't think I was very efficient.
That's all good. That's why we're on a podcast.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.
That one's just going to be no context. Just for everyone.
You want it to be no context?
Yep.
Okay.
They'll work it out as we go along.
Okay. Cool.
Alright.
Who are you?
Who am I? My name is Josh. I am married to Courtney, and I think the way that I best like to sum up myself has only come to me very recently. I was talking to my dad about sort of me and what makes me me, and he said, "You know what, Josh? Like, I like to sum it up this way: you are someone who is so curious about the world. You just like to know everything, how it works, and you just love to learn." And I was like, "Dad, that is so good. It's so good that I'm going to make it my LinkedIn bio because I've struggled for 3 years now to make it."
Did you?
I did. I did. Follow me on LinkedIn. You'll see it. It's pretty exciting. But yeah, I think that pretty much sums it up. I'm sure you'll find out more about me. I'm very opinionated.
Loves a good discussion.
Love a good discussion. Anything.
We'll talk to anybody about anything.
We'll talk to anyone about anything.
Wants to know about anything and everything. In fact, like, there won't be 5 minutes without Josh asking, "Why do you think this does this?" And me being like, "I don't know, Josh, what do you think?"
And that's when I get annoyed because I'm like, well, can't we just play this game? Like we can just think about it and then think up some answers.
We could, yeah.
And that might be what we do in this podcast.
Maybe.
Yeah. Hey, this is the time where we're just going to get into who you are and what makes you you. So let's start from the beginning.
Okay.
Where did it all begin for you, Courtney?
Ooh. Well, way back when, I was born in Mackay. And then after a hot minute, we moved to Bundaberg, where our lives crossed over.
I know. So, okay, are we going to get into this?
If you want to, go for it.
I love it. So, yeah, I mean, there's not really much to get into. Like, our lives did cross over, but how, like, it wasn't in a big way, was it?
No, it was in a very, very minute way. But still counts. So when I was 3, 4-ish, that's when my family moved to Bundaberg for my dad's work. And Josh happened to be in Bundaberg at the same time.
I know.
Craziness.
Absolutely.
Meant to be.
So crazy.
Yeah. But yeah, after that even hotter minute in Bundaberg, my family moved to a farm outside of Dalby because my dad got an opportunity on the family farm, my mum's family farm. And yeah, grew up on a little property. Sorry, not a little property.
No, it's
a
pretty big
property. In a little country
Okay,
town.
no. This is what I find interesting because I've been there. I still don't really fully understand its size. So if you were talking to someone, a stranger, say, maybe someone even listening to this podcast, how big was that farm? In city terms, city slicker terms.
Oh, I don't know.
Like Concrete Cowboy, R.M. Williams wearing...
It was a big fuck off farm. Does that count?
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's the only thing that city people would understand. They'd be like, acres? What are acres? Hectares? What?
I think the podcast just became self-titled, by the way.
Anyway, so yeah, it was a big farm, but it was beautiful.
No, seriously. No, I actually need you to put it into some layman's terms.
Okay, well...
Like compare it to something. Surely you've done it for someone.
No, I've never had to. It was like 3,600 acres, which actually doesn't seem like a big farm compared to a lot of like cattle stations and all
Yeah,
that.
well, it's not like Kidman and Co.
For a dry land cropping farm,
That's pretty big.
Pretty massive.
For someone who, like one person who farms it.
Yeah, it was just my dad farming it for the last like 10 years, I'd say. So, yeah. But yeah, grew up there, a little country girl. I'm very much not a country girl these days though. I went to boarding school in Brisbane, the big smoke. And my sister came along with me after, when she was ready. She was younger than me, so she came a couple of years later. And then, I had an awesome music teacher in high school, and he was kind of the person that got me and believed in me. And I did not think that I could make a career out of music.
Well, you're going all over the shop. Am I gonna have to come in here and just structure this bad boy out? All right. You want to restart full stop?
Maybe.
It's too late. It's too late. We come too far.
I think the other one was better, and that's sad.
It's gonna get better. Let's just plow on.
Okay.
Have some more wine.
Okay.
Let's go right back to the beginning. Right back. Way back.
Oh, you mean back to my parents having sex?
Yes, there we go. See, now we're back on track. Saved it.
Saved it.
Yeah.
My parents had sex.
Do your parents have sex?
Yeah.
Do you reckon they do now?
Yeah. 100%. And that's a very comforting thing for me. Because I know that they love each other so heckin' much. It's ridiculous.
It's awesome.
Yeah, and they continue working on their relationship every day.
I love that.
And that was something that was really nice growing up.
Yeah.
They were always so affectionate and lovely. And it was disgusting, them making out all the time. But it was nice because you were they're good together. They love each other. They're each other's best friends. It was nice. It was a really good demonstration of a healthy relationship.
Oh, that's awesome. So, okay, you were born in Mackay, then you moved to Bundaberg, and then you settled in Dolby. So you're in Dolby for a while. I'm assuming, your first memories are from Dolby?
I have some memories from Bundaberg.
Okay.
Yeah.
But Dolby, so suddenly you've gone from Bundaberg, which is kind of houses.
Is it bedtime for you?
A little bit. Sort of suburban-ish, and then you've gone to a farm.
Yeah.
Just talk me through what that was like as a child, being free. I've been out there, it's flat as a tack. You can see for miles.
It's beautiful.
But the oasis is around the house. If you go too far, especially in the wrong conditions, it could be quite bad. Maybe not for a country kid, but talk me through that,
Oh, it was just so nice and peaceful all the time. I've always felt really safe because you're so far away from anything that could possibly get you. Except the monsters under the bed. There was a solid while I had a scary shadow on the wall in my bedroom. It was only my bedroom for a little while because I was really sick. It was actually the spare bedroom. So my sister and I shared a room for a little while, which was really cute.
Yep.
Sometimes not great because we would just keep each other up at night, which was great, but not great for the whole sleep thing.
Yeah.
I got really sick one time and had to be in a separate room, and so I was in the spare bedroom, and this was early days of living out there, so I think we still had some boxes and stuff sitting in the room. And there was this really scary shadow, and I was like, it's a monster and it's gonna get me. I was terrified for a long time, and I did not sleep very much at all. Beyond that, no monsters to get you out there.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
So, but tell me, because I haven't heard of this sickness before. What was that?
Oh, I think I just had a middle ear infection.
Okay.
It wasn't anything super bad.
Fair enough. But why'd you have to move out of the room?
Oh, because I think there was a gross flu that went with it. Yeah, but I remember the ear infection part because I was in pain
Interesting.
all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so...
But from youngest sort of memory, you have had a good, and still do have a good relationship with your sister.
Yeah, really nice relationship.
It's something that not a lot of sort of, family shares. I'm lucky, I have a similar sort of relationship with my sister. It hasn't always been close.
Your sister's great.
Yeah. Oh, you've got a better relationship with her than I do.
She's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Dom and I were pretty close growing up. We would spend every afternoon playing in the backyard, climbing trees and, pretending to be some lost princesses in a forest, shooting bows and arrows and all of that kind of stuff.
Cool.
Yeah, and we had push bikes. but we would name them and pretend they were horses. And there was a period of time where Dad was renovating our house, and part of it was just like the structural elements, so just like the timber frameworks and stuff like that. And I would put little names on a few of the different like sections, pretending that they were the stables for my horses.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I begged my parents for horses for ages.
Yeah.
I thought that would be really nice. And I read lots of horse books when I was younger. But my dad, being my dad, was like, we don't have enough room for a horse out here. What are we going to do with it? And I was like, we literally have a whole farm. Like, what do you mean there's not room for a horse?
The horse would eat the barley. And
that's the issue. Like, we didn't have enough, like, usable farmland for a horse. And they're also really bloody expensive. So.
Yeah, and continually. It's not like they stay
all the time.
Yeah. If you're out there and you're thinking of getting into like buying horses, horse racing, something like that, I mean, are we both sort of certifying this one? This take?
Sure.
Don't buy it.
But also...
Certified.
Also, if you have horses, we would love to hear about your lifestyle and how you make that work. Yeah, how is that economically viable? We'd love to hear.
Yeah, because I think, this is the fun thing about life, especially when you get older, like, you can do anything.
Yeah.
But there is a cost to everything. Physical, mental, relational, there's always a cost. And if you think that there's no cost, well, it's going to be a cost to someone else or something like that.
It's not always monetary either. It's often other costs like time or... Yeah, that kind of thing.
Well, horses are animals, and so they need to put time into them, right?
Yeah,
so,
well, my friend has a horse. Have I told you about this? One of my friends has a horse. It's on agistment, like half an hour, 40 minutes from where she lives.
Yeah.
And she has to drive out there every single day.
And she's very busy.
Yeah, super busy.
Every single day?
Every single day to go feed her horse and ride it.
I hope we get this friend on, because that's not the only wild, like, and wacky thing that she does.
No, there's a lot that would be really fascinating to discuss and unpack and just...
I reckon it's a two-parter. First part, horse chat.
Yeah.
Like, because there's a whole thing to discuss in that. And then there's...
relationships.
Ooh, you're going to go there.
Well, what were you thinking?
I was thinking, what's her favourite pizza topping?
Yeah, I missed that mark, didn't I?
Yeah. She's got a really interesting one.
She has a fascinating whole life story, really. Like, we should just get chat about everything.
That could be a long one. I guess, we want to engage the audience in these, right, obviously, and obviously down the track. There's going to be a lot of us talking at the start. Once you get to know us...
There'll be less of us talking.
And when we run out of content, we're just hoping to start milking you guys dry.
We want to know about you.
We want to know about you.
That kind of leads us to the whole point of this podcast, doesn't it? Like, we just want to journey with people. We want to share our journey with other people, and we want to be a part of your journey. We want to know what you're up to. We want to hear about your whole life. Well, not your whole life, but, as much as you want to share.
Yeah, exactly. Also, because we do have a time limit, but yeah.
Yes, well, yeah.
But, on that's what I was sort of getting to before. Let us know, like, how long you want these podcasts to go. Like, I'm a podcast listener. I listen to one consistent podcast 5 days a week, and that podcast is about an hour and a half, and that's like solid for me. And we're probably only going to do twice a week, 2 different ones. Let us know what you're vibing. Like, plot twist, I work in media, and when podcasting started to take off, no one listened to what podcasting listeners wanted, which was so wacky. I don't know where this data came from, but the data was small, bite-sized podcasts. That's what people want. They just want a little bang, little bit of that, and then move on.
Yeah, just fun facts for a hot minute, and then
fun facts.
Yeah.
So good. We're definitely doing fun facts.
Josh loves a good fun
I
fact.
do love a good fun fact.
Hope you love them too, because you're going to hear some.
Well, you're going to have to love them. Like, that's just the way. Anyway. And I got really shitty because these podcasts suddenly changed their entire format just to cater for this weird audience who I don't even know exists. And people were like, no, fuck no. Like, the longer the better. You know, like, I can do a 2-hour pod. Honestly, not.
You could
not all the time.
A whole day podcast if you really wanted to.
Well, I do listen to, but then I have different ones. Like, you know, obviously no one wants to listen to us all day, but then you can switch and change. And anyway, get in touch. Let us know what you like. I'm just going to make long ones, so I don't give a shit what you say. But it'll be interesting to get some data.
I will care.
There you go.
Yeah, I used to be the kind of person, well, probably still am, but I would enjoy shorter ones, like 15, 30 minutes, because I would just like chuck a podcast on while I went for a walk or a run.
So you are the weird one.
Yeah, I am the weird one.
See, that's still not as short as they were talking about, though.
No.
They were talking like radio break, like 5 minutes.
No,
bang.
that's too short.
Yeah.
Not interested. Don't get enough detail and
But 20 minutes is tough. Like, put it this way, we've been talking for 22 minutes. I'm going to cut out like maybe 5 of that, but like...
So much for not editing much. No, but it's necessary.
Yeah.
Yeah, my bad.
Anyway. More on that later.
Yeah.
To Dobby, you had a great... Would you call it a great childhood?
It was a great childhood.
Good childhood.
Definitely.
Awesome. Now, at some point in that childhood, you picked up something.
I did.
What'd you pick up?
I was trying to think of something funny.
I know you were. I could see your mind working. It was alcohol, right? That's what you picked up.
When I was about 5 years old.
Huge. I was 4, but that's what makes us really a great couple.
I picked up a violin. My mom played a bunch of concert videos on the TV. They were the Dixie Chicks, which are now called the Chicks. Bond Quartet.
Let's not get into that. Bond. Yes.
Yeah. And what was the other one? The other one was the Cause.
Oh.
Yeah, super cool band.
Yeah.
They're still around these days actually as well. I think Bond is too, but I think they do a lot of international stuff.
I looked up Bond recently.
Yeah.
Because Courtney and I bonded over Bond. And early on in our relationship, and I looked them up and they're not looking too good.
No,
Some of them
they're fine, but they're doing lots of stuff, just overseas, but they're an Australian group.
What?
Yeah, they're an Australian group.
I didn't look them up well enough.
Apparently not.
Are you sure? Are you sure?
Google it.
On my watch?
Oh, hang on. Yeah.
No. Okay, you're gonna talk. I'll do it. Yeah. Okay.
So my mum showed me all of these video concerts of those bands, and I just kept seeing these violinists on there, and I was like, heck yeah, like that looks really cool. I want to do that. And so I would stand in front of the TV with a hairbrush and a paintbrush and pretend to be playing the violin. And I would beg my mom for violin lessons for ages.
And this is the thing I find interesting. So you were the one begging. So she was just playing this stuff because she enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I mean, she would say now...
She always wanted us to learn music.
Yeah.
And so with my sister and I, we could always learn an instrument that we wanted to learn, but we both had to learn the piano.
Yeah, gotcha.
So, the fact that we both wanted to play other instruments, that was really awesome. But then, we obviously had to pick up the piano as well at some point. So, I was just super keen to learn this thing. But living in the country, it's really hard to find teachers. And especially teachers who are willing to teach a 5-year-old how to play violin. Not so much probably in the cities you find that a lot more, but definitely out there, there were teachers who were just like, nah, she's too young.
Yeah, there were even teachers out there. They just didn't want to take you on.
There was one teacher.
Okay.
To be fair.
And she was good, right?
Hey?
She was good, right?
I didn't have her as a teacher because she didn't want to teach me.
I just wanted you to
say that.
Talk shit about her.
I don't know if she was a good teacher.
I thought I heard that she was bad.
I'm not sure. I don't know. But she refused to teach me because I was too young, and so we had this other man come and teach me to play violin initially.
Come and teach you.
But he was. Oh, sorry, I went to him at school.
Yeah.
But he was a cellist and maybe a guitarist. But he was the one that got me started, and he left after like a year. So then Mum had to travel me to and from Toowoomba every fortnight, which was like over an hour drive to the teachers that were there. And we did that all through primary school. So yeah, thanks Mum.
Yeah, big props to Vicky.
Yeah, that's the only way I would actually know how to play my instrument right now.
Yeah.
Very, very grateful for that. I don't know if I would travel my kid an hour every fortnight.
No.
Actually, an hour isn't super long. If you think of it in city terms, like that would just be going across the city.
And it depends on what time of day, where you are.
Yeah, it's fascinating, hey?
Is it?
You don't think it's fascinating?
I think it is quite fascinating.
Okay.
By the way, Bond is an Australian and British
Australian and British.
pop band, yeah.
Okay, there you go.
Tough.
So I was half right.
And that makes me also right.
Okay, sure, we'll go with that. I was more right.
No, I don't think we'll go with that. I think that, like, that's how it's going to go.
Sure. Agree to disagree.
Interesting. Tension. I like this. It's good.
Yeah, anyway, then I went off to boarding school.
Wow, okay, so this is huge for like farming communities. You're basically leaving home
Yeah.
In grade 7
It
or
was grade
8.
8, but yeah, I was about 12.
12, gosh.
Yeah. And yeah, went off away from the parentals and lived at school, met some really cool people, met some very not nice people.
So it was a real mix.
Yeah, boarding school was a tough time.
School is quite a mixed bag.
It is. It definitely is for everyone. But yeah, it was definitely tough being away from my family. But yeah, I had a really awesome violin teacher at the school, and he was just basically like my dad away from home and my biggest mentor and biggest supporter. And he was just, really awesome, really there for me through all that time.
And this wasn't the old guy.
No.
This was
David.
We're going to say David this time?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he was 40s. Yeah.
What?
David was in his 40s.
When you were in
when
school?
I was going through school.
So that means that he's in his 50s/60s now.
No, he'd be late 50s. Late 40s, early 50s. I think. Maybe he's in his 40s now. I can't remember. Anyway, that's irrelevant.
No, I think it's very important.
Do you? Okay, so he...
Do you think he's in his... Because he looks quite...
He turned 40 sometime during my time at school. I can't remember if it was early or late.
And you think that still makes him in his 40s? How old do you think you are?
It's only been 8 years since I left school.
That's what I mean. So you spent
So he could still be 48. It could have been the last year of school. I can't remember when he turned 40.
It's a low chance though.
Sure.
Anyway. These are the facts we need to get straight.
Both of his kids are out of school now.
Yeah?
He could be 50.
Hang on, you just changed then.
I'm so confused. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I don't know why you think it matters. It doesn't matter.
Well, he looks quite young.
Okay. Now I've just completely lost track.
Oh no. So he was amazing.
Yeah, he was awesome.
That's all?
It was really great. And for a long time, I was never actually a very good violinist. I was super average. But I kind of decided at one point that I wanted to be a musician. It was the thing that kind of called to me most out of everything that I was doing with my childhood. And he was like, well, if you want to do it, like, you have to do it. As in, like, it's not just gonna happen.
Yeah.
You have to start acting like you're gonna do it.
It's a huge point.
Yeah, which meant putting in the hours of practice. It meant putting in so much hard work that I just hadn't done before, because I was like, if it's meant to be, it'll be, and I'll probably never make it anyway, so why bother trying? But yeah, he kind of showed me that I could do it. I did have to do a heck of a lot of work, but I could do it. And so he supported me through that, and he's the reason I'm where I am today.
So I guess maybe this is something we can get into later, because you make it sound like, you know, you didn't have a lot of self-confidence, and which is true, you didn't.
Zero self-confidence.
Yeah, but it's not like it went from 0 to 100.
No.
Because as long as I've known you, I've only seen you get like close to even 50%, like recently.
Yeah.
So would you argue that you only need a little bit, just a snuff of a 1% of self-confidence to get where you've come? Because you have come very far.
It is an interesting question. I think around that time, like, I did have very little self-confidence. That was kind of around the time that we discovered that I had depression. So I was like hardcore struggling a lot. It was, super severe, a very, very dark time, and it took a really long time to, I guess, discover and then kind of come out of, get the help that I needed.
Yeah.
But during all of that, music kind of became my safe space. It became the thing that, well, it took me away from people that I didn't enjoy because they were mean and awful. But it was also like my way of expressing myself. It was my self-discovery. It was my way of exploring my faith a little bit further as well. It was literally the thing that kind of kept me alive during that time, and so I was doing it more and more and more, and that kind of coincided, like, it was the thing that helped me with my mental health, but it coincided with me saying, okay, I want to do this, so I have to put in the work now. So yeah, that's kind of what I did, and I found like I was improving so much quicker. Amazing. You practice and you improve. Why?
What?
Craziness. The kids at school that I teach now wouldn't believe it.
No, I still don't.
Josh still doesn't, yeah. He never practices. More on that later. But yeah, I can't remember where I was going with that. I was improving a lot, basically. And that brought me a lot of joy to actually see that the hard work I was doing paid off. Crazy. And then because of that, I was like doing really well with my music studies. I was doing really well with exams. I was doing really well with my auditions and stuff like that for when I was starting to go into youth orchestras, and when I was starting to prepare for entering into university and all of that kind of thing. So
it's starting to, I guess it's like the snowball effect, right? It's starting to really just take off. Like, you have to put work in, but you're seeing it come back.
Yeah.
And almost self-propel itself.
Yeah, and it was like playing music was the thing that brought me joy, and then also seeing those successes and like seeing the reward for all of that hard work, that would fill me with joy as well, which kind of helped me out of my depression alongside other helpers.
Because there's no doubt, like, the talent's there. You know, David wouldn't have said those things if the talent wasn't there.
Yeah, but anyone can have talent.
So true. And that's what I was getting at.
It doesn't mean that you actually get anywhere.
Yeah.
It's always hard work. The people who are at the top of their game, it's always hard work.
And I feel like the people who, like, if you're someone who flew through life in school in particular, and you, like, everything came easy, like, it was all good, all crazy.
Oh, the real world would hit you hard in the face.
Yeah. And it may may not hit you hard at first. It may take years, but you'll be missing out on something.
Yeah, and you know what? Like, the world might not hit you hard in the face. It might hit you real soft, but over a really long period of time. And then all of a sudden you find yourself beaten up and you're like, how the heck did this happen?
Or there's a big part missing and you realise, hang on.
Yeah, big holes.
I never really strive for anything, like what's sort of going on. I hope that no one's sort of like out there just listening to this and being like, oh shit, like I don't really have, like what do I have? Don't stress. Like, I don't really know what I had. Well, I didn't really know what I had or where I was going until...
And that's all part of this whole thing, right? That's why we're here. That's why we're talking about what we're talking about.
That's why you're listening.
Yeah, well, hopefully, yeah. When we started talking about putting this podcast together, we're like, okay, what do we want it to be? Like, how is this actually going to be different to anything else that's out there? And we're just like sipping our coffee and taking down some ideas. And
we're in Perth.
We were in Perth.
Chasing your dreams.
Chasing my dreams. Just doing some more music things.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're just having coffee and we're like, well, I think it's actually about the mundanity of life. Like, it's about the simple things. It's about how normal we are. Like, neither of us, we're not like high flyers in our careers. We're not anything special. I think it's just about how, mundane. Relatable, maybe. I think that's the idea. Like,
I think the idea is like vulnerability. So like talking about the things that we're going through, because it's not. I actually don't think it is mundane. I think that. Sorry,
mundane's probably the wrong word, but it's the things that everyone's going through, but not everyone is talking about.
Yeah, and like, I guess life can be really cool. We've had some really cool moments already. Some really big highs. Some real almost like bucket list sort of ticking the box kind of stuff. But sorry, that's kind of what the other stuff is. It's that ticking the box stuff. It's that we've had a big weekend socially and we have to do some washing. Like, someone has to do some washing because we're not going to have any clothes for the week. Or Courtney's sick again. She can't function. Someone's got to step up. Someone's got to get some food ready. Someone's got to,
Seems to be a regular occurrence.
No, but then I guess the other part of that is how two people can really come together and really complement each other. Like, there are things that I don't do that you do really well for me. You are the driver behind this podcast, and like, that's what relationships about. It's all of those things. It's trust as well, and it's also about making mistakes.
Yeah.
I think our lives to this point, I'm someone who planned really, really hard. I think I planned probably, 7 years out of school? So I got 3 more years of my planned life in the barrel. It's not helpful because I'm not where I thought I would be 7 years in. But my point is, like, you plan because you don't want to make mistakes. But even planned, I made so many mistakes.
Yeah.
Some mistakes even planned. Right?
Yeah.
Like, I'll be honest, losing my virginity, that was a planned mistake. A lot of people have really terrible stories, and I noted that, and I was like, you know what? I've got to make mine maybe not particularly not great, but at least have a story when I was young. I don't want to be that guy that was like, oh yeah, I just got married, and like, boom, there we were. Like, and that's a bit of a tangent, but like, that's life, it's...
Yeah. But that's adulting, isn't it? And finding yourself is all about making your own mistakes and, learning who you are during that whole time.
Huge. So, you got to boarding school, you got through boarding school.
Yeah.
Now we get into the real juicy bits of life.
Okay.
And I'm talking about juicy in all the good and the bad ways,
Yeah. All of the above.
So, talk me through what happened next.
Okay.
In particular, the mistakes.
Well, there's lots of those.
The highs and the lows.
So, at the end of grade 12 at school, I got into the Queensland Conservatorium in viola performance to do a Bachelor of Music, and that was really exciting. I was so pumped, and I'd worked really, really hard for that. I got a scholarship to go there, which was pretty cool. I also got a scholarship from my school for because I was going into the music industry. They were like, hey, here's a bursary, because music is hard.
How much was it?
Oh, I think it was only like $500 or something. But
I got a bigger one.
You what?
Yeah. I got a bursary.
From your school?
Nah, not from my school.
Okay, so I got one from my school and I got a scholarship to uni.
What does that mean? Does it mean that your degree you didn't pay for it?
No. It just meant that I can't remember the exact name of the scholarship. It might have been a bursary as well, but it was like this thing that you get. It was for the top audition for viola, bassoon, and maybe oboe students or something like that. But yeah, it was.
But it was through the con.
Yeah.
And it was just money.
Yeah.
Did you receive money or did you get it off your...
No, I received money.
You received money?
Yeah.
Okay, that's better.
A savings account, and that eventually went towards when I bought a new bow.
Yeah, because that's all we would have afforded.
Yeah.
And is that the carbon fibre bow?
No, that one I already had.
Damn it. So it's a good bow.
Yeah, it's the good bow that I have.
I wanted that to be the first mistake that we spoke about.
No,
it was like,
the carbon fibre bow was not a mistake.
Yeah, what do you mean?
What do you mean?
You said you don't like it.
Okay, so the carbon fibre bow that I have for my violin, super good, especially in
You've
a
got
teaching...
two?
No, I only have one.
Okay, go on.
It's really good, especially in a teaching setting, because it's so hardy, doesn't break. It also bounces really well. It has quite a nice tone. But for classical performing on violin, I would much prefer a wooden bow because I feel like it has a lot more nuance and colour in its sound than this particular carbon fibre bow, right? So that bow, the carbon fibre one, is perfect for what I need on violin at the moment. But
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Alright.
Anyway.
Alright, fair enough.
That's a little tangent. What were we talking about? Oh yeah, went to uni at the con, met some really cool people, also met some less cool people there as well. They seem to exist everywhere, isn't that crazy? Yeah, I did not do my con years very well.
You didn't do your latter high school years very well either.
No, but I at least practiced in my latter high school years.
True.
When I was at the con, I was kind of like, I did so much hard work when I was in school. It'll just come to me now, which is so dumb because that's literally what I learned is not the case in high school. It doesn't just come to you. You have to friggin' work hard.
But obviously you were still performing at a level that was fine.
Yeah.
But what was going on to not promote that?
So during my first year at the con, I got into a relationship with a man who was much older, and he had a very strong influence over my life at that time. I was very naive, extremely vulnerable, and at the time I was like, wow, this guy, he loves me, I need to spend all this time with him and put so much work into the relationship, which is true. If you want a relationship to be successful, you have to put in work. There's no getting around that. The issue was he didn't put the work in the other way. It was all me.
We put work in for 20, 30 seconds, maybe.
That's another story. But yeah, it was just an incredibly toxic relationship. I was always belittled and undermined by him. He would condescend me all the time, especially in front of all my friends, and I just felt like crap basically all the time. But yeah, during that time, I was made to feel like I would never make it as a musician, and so then I would try less and less. And at the same time, when you don't feel like you can make it in the classical world, like it's a really bloody hard world to get into, right? It's a really hard world to make it, and it can also be a really toxic world as well. And so during that time, I was like, I just don't know if I don't know if I want to be in this world anymore. I don't know if I want to be a musician if this is what everyone's going to be like. It's not what everyone's going to be like, but that was just...
Well, when you're around like one incredibly toxic person, it seems like that's what the world's like.
Yeah.
Because they are, in a large way, shaping your view.
Yeah. It was a very big part of my life at that point, which was just super yucky, and it shouldn't have happened, but it did, and that's like, I'm who I am today because of that, for good or for bad, bit of both.
Well, and I think as well, like, not to tease, but like, that does almost deserve a podcast in and of itself, is that, because that was what, 3 years for you?
It was a 2-year relationship.
2 years.
I was 17 when we met, he was 26 or 27.
Oh my god, it gets, see, I've heard a lot of this, and I've seen a lot of this, like the scars like run deep, you know, and I think we're only just starting to get to the bottom of those and really getting to that healing stage.
Yeah, I mean, I've been healing for a really long time. After him, I wasn't in a relationship for a really, really long time, until you. Because I knew I needed that time for myself and to get over that.
And it was the same for me. Like I had a really long time in between you and my previous relationship.
Right. More on that later.
Plot twist, it wasn't a lot. I think it's a lot. But for me, but for someone who can spend roughly 30 seconds with themselves, like by themselves, it seemed like years.
Yeah. He needs people around him.
Better or for worse.
Yeah, so during that time, like super toxic relationship, not in a good mental place at all. Started to lose my joy for playing music and started to lose my purpose for actually like why I was studying it, why I was playing, why I was there, what I was actually doing. And so I went away from the music world for a little bit. I did finish that degree, mind you, halfway through I was like, I just want to quit. But made it through that degree. I decided to then take on a law degree, to be completely outside of the music world.
Something easy as well.
Super easy. I did a year of law. Loved that year.
Really? I've never actually, I've never noticed you say that. No, that sounds sarcastic. No, that sounds sarcastic. No, I've heard you, and now, I mean, we can get into the fact that I don't hear a lot of things that don't happen. You'll be like, I said I would do the washing, you know, don't you remember me saying that? Or whatever.
Okay.
Anyway,
we'll discuss that later.
It doesn't matter. I guess like my point. What is my point?
Your point is that you haven't heard a lot about my law degree.
No, I have, but I've heard you respect it for what it was, and more so get to the point of, but it wasn't where I wanted to go. So like that was a year, and I appreciate it for what it was. But I never heard you say you loved it.
I really enjoyed it. Yeah,
okay.
I thoroughly loved like learning everything that I did in that first year.
Different uni.
Yeah, it was a different university. It was a very different lifestyle that I was kind of leading, a very different community at the uni, like where the con is very like small and cliquey, and like you're literally living in everyone's pockets. You're around the same people all day, every day. I was suddenly at a university where there are hundreds and hundreds of people in the same year studying the same degree, and so you could lurk in the shadows a lot more, which I kind of liked.
It's just one of your favourite places.
It is.
It's black in the shadows.
But no, like I loved that law was all about history. I loved that it was all about language. It was all about like justice and people and finding equity and equality. I was very much about all of that, and I'm like I like studying. I'm just a real nerd and I'm good at it. So,
oh my gosh, maybe that's actually I think that's the title. I'm just a nerd and I'm good at it.
It's probably your most accurate statement is that you love learning.
Yeah.
I also love learning, but I'm just a massive nerd.
I'm a nerd
that's
and I'm
the
good at it.
biggest thing.
Yeah, I love that. That's the title.
Okay.
I love that.
Excellent.
That really does sum you up. I think as well it speaks into maybe some diagnoses that you wish you had.
Yeah, more on that later. Yeah, so I don't know. I really enjoyed that year. I really enjoyed that it was so different to everything that I'd spent the last however many years doing. But during that time, I was doing lots of instrumental teaching at a new school, and I was really enjoying that, more than I ever thought. When I left school, I was like, I am never going to be a teacher. Stuff that would suck. Who wants to hang out with kids all day, every day?
Yeah.
But yeah, I was doing a lot of teaching during that year, and that's also thanks to my instrumental teacher during high school and his wife. They got me that teaching gig. They were like, hey, we think this would be really awesome for you. Do you want to do it? And I was like, yeah, sure. I'll earn some money. That'll be great. But I actually loved it. It was really cool. I had some really awesome young students to deal with, and I was learning so much about myself through teaching them. But also during that year, I was working in a law firm, and I was looking around at all of the solicitors around me, and they just did not enjoy their lives.
This is such I think this is such a huge point, and I'm sure. Actually, you know what? I don't reckon we have any solicitors or lawyers listening to us because they don't have the time to.
Yeah, the solicitors I was working with. They were literally working 7 a.m. till 10 p.m. every day and every weekend. There was not a weekend that they were not working the
It's
whole
not sustainable.
weekend.
It's...
Yeah, and these poor people had children and families and, they had stuff outside of their work, but, they would drag themselves into work, they would work really bloody hard every day, and most of what I heard from those lawyers when I talked to them was, oh yeah, I got into the career because I thought it would make me money.
Oh, and it does.
It does.
It's
100%.
important to state that.
But at what cost?
And you stole the words out of my mouth. That's what we were talking about before. It was that cost element.
Yeah.
Whether they realize it or not, their family is paying the cost. Their mental health is paying the cost.
Their physical health is paying the cost.
Their relationships are paying the cost.
Yeah.
And for some people, that is still worth it.
Yeah.
That is, the lifestyle is good for them.
And you know what? If you're super passionate about what you're doing, then yeah, 100%. That is totally okay to spend all of that time doing that, right?
Because you'll never work a day in your life.
Exactly. But what I was finding when I was working in that job was I wasn't passionate enough about it. I was if I'm going to be spending my whole life doing a job, which inevitably, no matter what career path you're in, you have to put work in.
So true.
That's the only way that you can do well at it, basically.
And sorry to cut you off there again as well. I think that's the point. I made the joke of, if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. That's so dumb. I'm sure there are some people who are no, I haven't worked a day in my life. I love what I do. I have loved all the things that I've done except my degrees. I hated those.
More on that later.
Yeah, more on that later. But it's the where was I going with that?
It's the times that you love that make it worth it.
So true, but all humans, we have our moments. There are tasks, there are days, there are people within our lives that mean that it's not always going to be fine and dandy.
No.
But it's the way that it's the amount of time that it's good, and it's the way that you pick up when it's bad that decides whether you can continue that, whether it's sustainable.
It often has a lot to do with the people that you're working with as well.
Oh, that's huge.
But yeah, for me, I was I just don't think that I can be staring at a screen all day, every day. I don't think I can deal with clients who are always unhappy in a thankless job. And that was the one thing that I got told every single day when I was working there. Being a lawyer is a thankless job. So, yeah, I don't know. I just kind of decided that it wasn't for me. And at the same time, I was just loving teaching my little instrumental students. So I was like, I think that's something that, like, yeah, I'll have bad days, I'll have hard days, but I think that's something that I could find myself really enjoying.
Because, it's everyone's plan B.
Yeah. If you can't do, teach, right? But, like, I'm so thankful for that because that was actually...
I can only make that joke because I have a teaching degree. Like, I've done the fucking hard yards, everyone, to say shit like that.
But yeah, so I stopped that law degree. I was like, I'm just going to take a year to teach and, like, do some more performing and figure out what the heck I want to do with my life. But then, like, a month later, my dad convinced me that doing a Master of Teaching was a good idea because it was something that I considered...
It was your dad?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Because it was something that
He fucking loves degrees, eh?
Well, he does, but he also...
I'm starting
he knows me really well.
He does. Oh, yeah. You are him in so many ways.
Yeah.
In so many ways you're different, but, like, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he was kind of like, if you were thinking about doing it one day anyway, like, why don't you just do it now? Like, wouldn't it be so much easier to just, like, keep studying while you've been going? And, you know, you'll find out if you like it or not.
Can I jump in, though? Like, I did make the joke, you know, you are like your dad, and you agreed. I came to understand this, whether it was from you saying it or it would... Honestly, if you ever meet, like, your dad, and if you know Courtney, you'll be like, yeah. Sorry, it's not immediate. It's not immediate, but they are.
We are very similar.
In the ways that they think, like, and you can see in their connection, right? That's the way I know that they are so alike because, you know, Courtney gets on with her mum, and that's fine, but I think it's safe to say that, like, Vicky gets on maybe with...
There's something really special between my mum and my sister.
Yeah, and it's awesome.
Like,
I'm not, yeah.
Yeah, they have a really beautiful and special relationship. And I don't have that same relationship with my mom. I have a really, really nice relationship with my mom, but it's not the same as my sister's.
Yeah, and she'll probably listen to this and get very angry. Maybe, I don't know.
I don't think she'll get angry.
She won't understand.
No, I reckon she would understand. She does know that the relationship with Dom is different, but she wouldn't say there's any that's greater or lesser.
And that's not, and I think that's the point here. Like, we're not saying that. And I'm not saying that everyone, you know, just because you don't get along with your mum means you get along with your dad. Anyway, I'm getting on a tangent. Like, you connect so well, and he connects so well with you. Like, I can see, because I see all of you, like, all the time. I see how you're going. I see the bad bits as well as the good bits. And I see the way that your dad asks so few questions compared to your mum, but connects with you in a way that just she never does. It's beautiful, and I see it as because you are so similar. And I was once chatting to both of them when you were asleep, and I said, Mark, I love the way that you talk to Courtney because, yeah, Vicky, like, you've got your relationship and that's fantastic, but because you are so similar, that's like that's how I see that sort of mapped out. And he was like, what? Courtney and I, we're not similar.
Did he actually say that?
I think so. I'm trying to remember now, but like he seemed surprised. But then he was like, oh yeah, and like he came around to the idea. But I found it very interesting that he hadn't really thought about it that way.
I do have a lot of my mom in me though, like,
and that's the
a lot of similar traits.
Yeah, like you know, I think your dad would be happy for me to say he doesn't understand mental health.
No, he's never experienced it.
He's not going to get that perspective.
Yeah.
Like, but
that wasn't the point of what I just said. But anyway.
No, but I guess the point I'm making is, like, he asks you questions about, like, how you are, I guess the point of it, in a way that seems like he's had experiences like that.
Yeah. He's very empathetic.
He is. He's both your parents are fantastic. I'm very blessed and lucky to have them in my life, and that they've accepted me for who I am.
Anyway, so Dad was the one who encouraged me to start my Master of Secondary Teaching. And I loved studying that degree. Loved my first placement. That school was awesome and my prac teacher was awesome. My second placement was a little bit not so. It was very stressful. My supervising teacher was chaotic and stressful. But yeah, I just found a real love for working with young people, especially people who were going through the same things that I'd been through in high school. Like, I felt real compassion for that and real empathy, and I just, had such a connection with the struggle that is teenage life. So, I don't know, I just kind of embarked down that path, but teaching was the thing that kind of brought me back to the music world, and so I've kept, I've been teaching now for a little while, and I've continued my life in the music world, and it's all something that I still am trying to fully figure out. I'm trying to figure out what I fully want to do with it all. I've just finished a contract at a boys' school teaching instrumental and classroom music, which was awesome. It was also very chaotic and very stressful, but it was a real time of growth for me. And I'm about to go into an all-girls school teaching classroom music and humanities.
Juxtaposition.
So I'm really keen to see what that brings. And both of those positions are full-time. But I still also, I love performing. I want to do more of it. And just creating music as well. I don't know, I don't fully know what I want my life to look like, but I know that I'm still exploring, and I just am loving the journey. Something that I'm kind of realizing, and it's something that I always knew, but I didn't quite fully realize until I was working in the job. I'm an introvert, very much so. I just didn't realize how much an impact teaching would have upon that, because I come home every day exhausted and so mentally and emotionally fatigued. And so trying to find that balance between loving teaching and also needing me time, whilst also being able to earn a living. I'm just trying to navigate.
And do the things that I think we have expensive tastes, unfortunately.
We do. I get that from my mom.
So, I mean, it's a simple question, but I want you to take it far. What brings you here? Why are you here?
It's a great question.
And I don't just mean this podcast.
I think I feel a calling on my life, which is something that Josh hates. He hates that phrase.
Who's calling you?
God.
Huge.
I just feel a massive calling, to do something special and important with my music, but also to do something special and important with my experiences. I don't think you ever go through hardship without there being a purpose. I'm a big believer in the idea that we're never given something that we can't handle. And I think that then means that what we're given and the things that we learn from that experience, it goes somewhere. It's for a purpose, whether it just be for our own wisdom and for the trials that are to come, or whether that be to share with other people.
Kind of the idea that everything has meaning. Even the small things.
Everything has a purpose.
Wow.
So I don't know. I think I just feel really called to reach people. People who might not be in my current circles, people that are on the fringes, people that feel the same way that I do but don't have that community. it's probably something that I struggle with as well, is having community.
Well, I was going to say, that's not you. You don't walk into a room full of people and feel called to talk to anyone.
No, introvert again.
Yeah.
Talking to a lot of people is really stressful.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that I don't feel called to, just reach people.
And it doesn't mean you're not good at it. Because if you rewind, dear listener, this episode and listen to it again up to this point, I'm talking, right? But Courtney's doing the bulk of it. And she just described herself as someone who's an introvert, who doesn't like to talk to other people. I think that's a huge thing. I think that, not to put words in your mouth, but I think that if you're ever in a situation where you say, I can't do this, I think reframe it. I can't do this now, but how can I move towards getting to a place that's closer to that?
And I think it really depends on the context as well. It's interesting. You just can't escape it.
Can't escape it.
And you're just going to be along for the ride.
That's it. And I mean, we'll get into my story maybe later. Well, for you guys, it'll be a couple of days' time, but
next episode.
Next episode. That's Liv calling. She could be here right now, but she was busy. She was going to be our first guest.
Lame.
Oh well.
Why does she not something on offer?
I know.
You'll meet Liv soon. She's great.
You know what's annoying is I was about to get to a really interesting point. Now I can't remember what I was saying. What was I saying?
I'm not sure.
Oh man. I think I was talking about the idea that just get out there and do it. Like,
do the thing that scares you, but that you've been wanting to do for a really long time.
Yeah, it's that simple.
And the thing is,
that's what I was going to talk about. We'll talk about my story, but letting go. I tried to hold on to life for dear life because I thought I was in control. I love control, but when you genuinely, not just like, I'm carefree, I let go. Like when you let go,
and just let God.
Yeah, and trust. And I don't want to make this podcast about that. Like, I know there's a lot of people out there that would go, oh, fuck off. They said the G word. I'm out here.
Yeah.
They use this to evangelize me. That's not the point of this. Just first thing is noticing you're in a stream. Second thing is noticing that there's a current. I think the third thing is probably trying to avoid the current.
No, I think it's just kind of going with the current.
Yeah,
knowing that it'll take you to the places that you need to be.
So true. If you let me get to the fourth point, that's what it is. It's resisting, and then it's just going with the flow and just saying, hey, I don't know where this is going to go, but let's just see, because I know and trust in myself and the people around me that it's going to happen.
Yeah.
All right, that's fantastic. Just to cap this off, where are you? This is never an easy question because this is a place and time, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is even a week after we did a record that will never be broadcast. But you're even a different person compared to that a week ago. Mm-hmm. You're an incredibly different person to when I met you and the person years before that. Where do you see yourself now? And where do you see yourself wanting to go?
It is a hard question. I just want to do something meaningful. And I think that's where my passion for teaching comes in. It feels meaningful. So I think, no matter what I'm doing, I'll always be teaching in some capacity, whether it be in a school, private instrumental lessons at home. I do both of those things at the moment, but who knows if it'll continue in the same capacity or not. I am a strong believer in the power of music, and I just want to play as much as I can, make a beautiful time for as many people as I can. I just want to create something new and different and have a good time along the way, and we'll just see what life brings.
It's good. That's good. If you're out there, I really want you to ask yourself that. I really want, if you don't have a definitive answer, don't be scared.
Yeah, that's okay. I still don't know what I want to be in 5 years' time. Like, people, when you're applying for jobs, they're like, where do you see yourself in 5 years' time? Sorry, I don't put restrictions on my life like that.
Yeah, and but I think on the flip side, or on the other side of the coin, if you are sitting there and you're saying, this is what I want to do,
Go get it.
No.
No? Okay.
Sit in that. I really want you to just sit in that for a moment, because it's a really awesome space. And I'm not saying I can't guarantee whether you'll get that thing. Can't guarantee whether Courtney will do the things that she just said that she hopes come in the future. But I know that she trusts that it's going to work out, and I know that she's spent that time sitting in it and going, yes.
I've spent a long time sitting in it.
Yeah, and being like, yep, this is it. And
I think the thing is, like, I've spent so long sitting and wondering and praying and, just questioning and trying to figure out, like, where I'm meant to be or what I want to be doing, that now I'm kind of at a point where I'm like, no, I really do feel some kind of calling. I feel some kind of urge. Okay, I have to kind of grab it by the reins and make it happen, but not make it happen, but like put the work in. Like, if I want to be a wedding and a function or entertainment musician kind of thing, like, I have to advertise, I have to have business cards, I have to have a website, I have to be putting stuff up on social media, which makes me feel so uncomfortable, but it's necessary if you want to succeed in that industry. And so I'm actually going out of my way to try and make those things happen, and just wait to see if there are closed or open doors.
Yeah, it's not going to lay itself in front of you and with a big sign saying, do this, do that. Have a bit of Ron Weasley's, what was it, confidence juice? I'm thinking of confidence, man. Felix Felicis.
Felix Felicius?
Felicius.
It was like a good luck potion.
It's liquid luck.
Liquid luck, yeah. Oh my gosh, I gotta get that. We should watch that movie tonight.
We should. You know what? We might. But honestly, like, that's one of my, not going to say one of my favourite scenes, but it's a really great scene where we know in the book and we know in the movie that we think Harry put it in. He never says that he put it in Ron's drink.
No, he does. He tells Hermione.
Yes. Oh, so he does lie.
Yeah, he lies to Ron.
Okay.
But he tells Hermione that he lied.
No. This is what he does. Because, Ron immediately goes, hang on. No, Hermione goes, Harry, don't do that. And then Ron goes, wait, what? And then he goes, you put it in, didn't you? And then Harry kind of just goes,
yeah, and then he tells Hermione later.
Yeah, later.
After Ron is gone, but in that moment.
Yes.
We're going to watch the movie again. We'll let you guys know.
Yeah, we'll let you know. But yeah, like, what Ron had was not actually liquid luck. He went on to sort of do a great feat on the field. It showed that he had the talent in him within himself. He didn't believe in himself, but
then he had the confidence.
Have a dose of your own confidence. Have a dose of your own liquid luck. I'm a bit too high on it currently. It's getting me in trouble. You're probably not high enough on it.
Apparently not.
I don't think anyone's quite...
I remember too much about Harry Potter.
I don't think anyone's quite balanced out in that, but go out there and do that. That's your homework for this week.
Do you want to put that in explicit terms for the teachers and students in our lives?
Well, as in, like, get your diaries out. Like, let's write it down.
Yeah. What's their homework? What are they doing?
Oh, work out what you want to do, and then do a plan of how you're going to get there.
What about sitting in it?
Oh, yeah.
Josh has had too big a glass of beer.
Anyway, you just take it however you like. Like just do none of it, do all of it, do a little bit of it, but just relax. I reckon.
Feels right.
Do what feels right.
Trust.
I love that. I reckon we go and watch Harry Potter now.
No, I reckon so too. Let's do it.
I love that. All right.
Okay.
Well, I guess there's only one thing left to say.
More on that later.
Love that. Catch you next week.